one.
Today's hard truth. Sometimes when you are not self-employed, you have to deal with a very difficult employment situation. And that just might push you off of dead center and get you to become self-employed.
Excellent. Welcome to episode 8. Jerry Kezhaya and Dr. Laura Shwaluk. We are here interviewing Scott Cowan. Scott, thank you so much for joining us on our Business Builder Intensive podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Scott and I go back a long time. Scott was actually my very first coaching client many years ago. And I am just grateful that he is still in my life and just running like a wild man, doing great things.
Jerry, do you remember the first piece of advice you gave me?
Oh my gosh. Don't bet on the horses.
No, I'm paraphrasing because I don't remember it exactly. But we had met in Clearwater, Florida, and we were out having dinner, and you joined us, and it was you and, oh gosh, was it Don Ballard?
Oh, wow.
And my wife, and there was a couple other people there who I apologize for forgetting. And the conversation came around to cars, and I had said I was interested in buying a new Corvette. And you looked at me and you said, have you ever driven a car with X number of horsepower before? And I said, no, I have not. And you go, then don't get a Corvette because I like you. And my wife thanks you for that advice.
That usually goes along with really good advice that I give other people. And that would be, if you've never driven a car like what you're looking to buy, go rent one for a month. And when you rent it for a month, you'll find out all the things you love about it and all the things you don't love about it. And then you can make what we would call a really informed decision. And you didn't spend $100,000 buying a car to find out, I can't get in the damn thing.
And I asked Jerry, why did you tell Scott to not buy a Corvette? And Jerry said to me, Laura, Corvettes like ditches.
And then Laura, you met me sometime later, and then you looked at me and went, yeah, I don't see that guy getting in and out of a Corvette either. That's the other part of it. I did go sit in one, and getting in was fine. I don't know why the salesman didn't record me, because he could have been really popular. Watching me roll out of the car was quite comical. I literally had to roll myself out of the car because it was so low to the ground.
And you're what, 5'17"?
Yeah, 5'17". And at that time, probably a svelte 340. Anyway, I digress.
So when you guys first met, Scott, what were you doing at that time, and what interested you in coaching with Jerry?
At that time, I was doing a multitude of things, just like I am today. I'd never do just one thing. I was overseeing 3 real estate brokerage offices. I had about 125 real estate agents that I was responsible for. I was also running a website called Explore Washington State.
Which has become very popular now.
It has grown. It has grown. And I was doing a few other little things, but basically how I ended up in the same room as Jerry, really looking back on it, I shouldn't have been in that room, because it was really a group of guys in the automotive industry. And I was the only non-auto guy in the room. And that was fine. It was just, I was the only non-auto guy in the room. And it was an interesting event. I learned some stuff from it. Good takeaways, don't get me wrong. But I met Jerry. And for those of you who know Jerry, know that he has a very shrinking personality. He just sat there in the corner, didn't speak at all. And so I befriended him to pull him out and make him get away from the wall. Just the opposite, actually. Jerry was very kind to me and probably took some pity on me.
Scott, you can't. How do you do that with a straight face, dude?
Years of practice. Anyway, so I met Jerry at this event. I hit it off with him, and there were some things going on. But anyway, Jerry had mentioned to me in passing that he was thinking about starting coaching. And I said, well, if you do, I'd be interested in finding out more about it. And that conversation led to other conversations and had me coming down to the Dallas, Plano area for a while, and led to this conversation.
If I can go back, we also knew each other from Dan Kennedy events. from
Right.
GKIC.
We had that common thread. Exactly.
Yeah, so we knew each other from before I think the event that you're talking about was
It was
how to
Ron
make it.
IPAC.
Yeah, it was a Ron IPAC
Yeah,
event.
the
Right.
kick-ass.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
kick-ass year.
Can't
No,
remember what it was called specifically. Yeah.
but it was just a group of, I think there were a total of 8 of us in the room.
Yeah, it was a small group.
Very small.
And it was all men.
It was all men.
No, there was one woman.
What was there?
No, there was
No,
no
she was
woman
in-
in the group. She was
Yes.
there for dinner, but she was not in the group. It was only men.
Okay. I could have sworn she
In
was
any-
in the room.
In any case,
Whatever.
Anyway, in any case.
At any point.
yeah.
So
What was the biggest pain point that you were experiencing that you thought, I'd really like to have someone coach me, or how do I maneuver this problem that I'm having in my businesses?
The overarching problem for me is I don't think I'll ever be over it. How's that? It's constantly working on it, work in progress. But at that time I was working for an ownership group that was challenging. And I was really wanting to break out on my own and take off the, what's the word I'm looking for here? I felt like I was bowling with the bumpers down the lanes, and I was still a pretty good bowler. I didn't need the bumpers, but I got freaked out if we took them off. And I was looking for some mindset work to help me break free of those obligations that I had put on myself, agreeing to work for an ownership group and giving them the best of my time and only giving myself the leftover energy that I had. And that seemed to be something that Jerry was pretty comfortable with. And as he's told me a couple times lovingly, he's got a size 13 shoe and it will go up my, and we'll keep it clean for the kids. And so I started coming down to Plano, where what was being presented to me wasn't what I was thinking about. It was an interesting change of pace from what I was thinking I needed, because I was just thinking I needed somebody to metaphorically slap me around a little bit, tell me I'm okay, and just get out there and stiff upper lip and get going. But Jerry had all sorts of, and Laura, I can't just say Jerry, Laura, you as well. You guys had all sorts of little things you wanted me to do that in the moment I didn't much like. Something about staring at a flame in a candle and writing hash marks down every time I had a thought. I went through so many pencils, you guys. You have no idea how many pencils I went through. That was torture for me. Still is. When I try it these days, it still is torture for me. But very powerful. I was looking to get out of employment and into entrepreneurship 100%. And now the room goes quiet.
Who's better to ask than someone who owns 7 companies and still travels the world 130 days a year?
I had been looking actually for somebody with 8 and 150 days, but I couldn't afford that. Richard Branson, he was a little more expensive, and he had to.
How did Jerry coach you to make that leap? What did Jerry do and me help you? How did you get the whatever it took to make the leap, and how long did it take?
Wow. Okay. So I wasn't prepared for that second part of that. I wasn't prepared for any of these questions, but I was really not prepared for that. How long did it take? Because Jerry, when did this start? Like 2016?
I think
right?
About that.
About 26, late 15, early 16.
Yeah. And we worked together for 2.5 years.
And I ended up finally becoming fully self-employed in 2017. So it took some time. What happened in between then was I was able to some better boundaries with my employer and regain some dignity.
Yeah. That was huge. That was absolutely huge.
Yeah. And then because of some other family life events, 2017, we relocated to where we live now. And I was able to finally break that chain by moving out of the area. It kind of sounds like I chickened my way out of it. We'll call it that. But anyway, in 2017, been fully self-employed since then. And a lot of that has to do with the way both of you present mindset. And I don't know how to say this without coming across as making it sound overly simplistic, but I think there's real beauty in simple. I don't know that there was any one aha eureka moment, but there was a whole bunch of building blocks that began to assemble into where did that come from mindset? Like how did I all of a sudden all these little things snap together into something much larger than the individual components? And the way you both present information, the way you both present concepts, and the way you both listen allow that to happen quietly. Jerry didn't have me walking across coals. He tried. No, I'm just kidding. But no, we weren't sitting in a room chanting and screaming and jumping up and down with multimedia effects. We weren't doing any of that. It was more just these conversations where Jerry would present something, Laura, you would present something. There'd be a group of us. We'd be talking about what's going on in our businesses. And ultimately, all those pieces just began to form this new identity for me.
Beautiful. I remember when we were coaching in the first year, we were having our regular weekly calls, and you shared with me a horrific event that happened to one of the realtor's husband. And without getting into details, we talked about all the stuff that was going on and everything that was happening. And I remember walking you through certain mindset things and you sharing with me the next week how everything had flowed so perfectly smoothly. And it was almost as though it was an out-of-body experience for you, the way you handled it, where normally it would have been herding cats and trying to reel all the craziness in. And the way you played it out was perfect. Absolutely perfect. You did not get caught up in the drama. You were able to, we say life is a teeter-totter. You have emotions on one side and you have intelligence on the other. And when intelligence goes down or when emotions go up, what happens to intelligence? Right? Intelligence goes out the window. So the more that we can keep the emotions out of our business, and the more we can keep emotions out of our working with peers, employees, and coworkers, obviously, we keep the emotion out of it, you keep the intelligence up, and we get to perform and do what it is that we need to do for what's best for everyone. And I remember that conversation and thinking, oh, thank you so much for all the work we've been doing, because that would have been really a bad day.
Yeah, that was a pretty awful experience all the way around. And I got through it. Thank you. Thanks to you.
It's just some of the work we get to do. I love it. I love
Scott,
being
are there
able
still
to.
sometimes when you hear Jerry's voice in your head? Scott, turn that phone to black and white.
Yes.
Oh, anything you can share with us and anyone else who might be listening?
No, in all seriousness, yes, but I can't really give you a specific. It's more like, what would Jerry say if you told him that you did X? It's not so much the voice of Jerry telling me, Scott, don't do X. It's more me imagining calling Jerry up, just catching up with him and saying, oh, and by the way, I did X. And then imagining what that response would be. So
I'm getting a bad reputation.
No, it's actually a very large compliment. It's kept me from making some decisions that looked far more attractive than they really were and would have been very awkward to unravel had I gone down that path.
Beautiful.
So, yeah.
That's beautiful.
So when you started with us, you were in the real estate, selling some houses a year, and then you really cranked it up. You were selling like more in a month than you were selling in some years, is what I recall. And then now you've actually gotten out of real estate completely. Is that accurate?
No, it's not
Okay,
completely accurate.
fill me in.
Okay. So my primary niche in real estate is distressed properties, foreclosures. And during that last great recession, if you will, I benefited from a substantial inventory. And that inventory eventually was worked through, and the housing market reestablished itself. And so my business needed less of me. So during that time when it needed less of me, we built some systems in place so that I was even needed less. I have an assistant that works for me about 10 hours a week and handles about 90% of what we do. Then
How
COVID
many
hit.
hours a week do you work? Did you work?
Well, now back then I was probably working 80 to 100.
Oh, golly.
Now I'm probably working 2 to 4
Hours a week.
Hours per week. Yes.
hours per week.
Sweet.
Now my volume is drastically lower than it was then, but it's still more than the average realtor would make in it. My numbers stack up. If we're competitively, my numbers are fine compared to everybody else's. But 2 to 4 hours a week, and my assistant works less than 10 hours a week. So we're able to do that. A lot of that came from working with you guys to build some systems in place and all of that. Real estate's no longer my primary focus. I own my own brokerage now. It all runs through me. I'm not working for anybody else now.
Good.
So most of my time then is put on my other projects. So
Tell us about some of your other projects.
I have a podcast, and that, when it's firing on all cylinders, is supposed to be 5 episodes a week. Right now, I'm lucky to do 5 episodes a month. We took some time off to retool the show, and we haven't nothing's ever done when you say it's, Jerry, you guys just remodeled your house, right? Everything went flawlessly. They met every deadline, right? Perfect. The story. It just doesn't work that way.
Yep.
So the podcast it's coming back. We're ramping back up into 5 episodes. We started a second show as well, which is another 5 episodes a week. On top of that, then I have the Explore Washington State website and all of its social media channels. That's on autopilot. And then to completely throw you guys off, I actually am working for somebody. I did take a job. I am the assistant general manager of a baseball team now. And the only reason that I'm doing it is because it's a baseball team.
You love baseball.
I love baseball, and the chance to be involved in the day-to-day operations of a team was such an opportunity that I couldn't pass it up. And so they're getting a lot of my time right now.
Buggers.
I know, but it's been fascinating that what's going on behind the scenes in a baseball team is.
I can imagine.
Yeah, it's very cool. It's really enjoyable. I'm enjoying it. I don't know that it will be when I applied for the job, I frankly told them that my bucket list item is to buy a team and own a baseball team. And what better way for me to figure out if I want to do this than for them to hire me to run it for a while to see if it's something I want to do. It's the idea you gave me about a car, rent it for 30 days. So I'm being paid to see if I want to buy something.
How fun is that?
It's
That's
interesting.
awesome.
It's a lot of fun. It's a very interesting, it's nothing like anything I've ever done in my life.
Are you using some of the principles that you learned from us to help them to run the baseball team?
No, but I'm using some of the principles to run me while I'm working at the baseball team.
Oh, very good.
Okay. So it's more, I'm able to put myself together every day, effectively using my time and being efficient with my time. And I don't spend a whole lot of time dwelling on things that are out of my control. I give you guys great credit for helping me with that mindset.
Beautiful. Yeah, I know when you first got over there, it was very difficult. You were having some struggles, other employees. And boy, that was...
Anyway.
And they worked themselves out.
Yes, they do.
Very beautifully, too.
Yes.
Yeah, now Scott buys the team. then we'll have a whole different set of conversations.
I wouldn't mind. At this moment in time, I don't think I'd mind owning a team in this league. I think it'd be an interesting hobby. I don't think it's a great business. Let's put it this way. I wouldn't be buying it for the maximum ROI, but I think I'd be buying it because it would put a stupid grin on my face all the time.
There's some things money can't buy. That's one of them.
Yeah. We went to the ballpark the other day because it's winter when we're recording this, and field looks horrible. All the signs are down in the outfield. It just looks barren. Mm-hmm. I went back and looked at some photos from last summer, and it was like, yeah, it looks a whole lot better during the summer. When we were outside, it was 35 degrees. It'll be 135 when we're playing ball this summer.
You moved it to Dubai? A team in a different place.
You're in Dubai? What?
We hit 119 last year.
Oh my God.
So we were negative numbers earlier this year already. It's a big swing here.
Bravo.
Pardon the pun.
Exactly. So
I get that silly grin when I'm about 3 miles away from the ranch. As I'm driving down that road and I'm getting closer, you can't make that go away. It's a permanent smile, even though I know I've got a ton of work to do.
Sure.
Like, yeah, I love that place.
Exactly. Yeah. And so that's for me with the idea of buying a team. Not that it won't have its challenges on a daily, weekly, and monthly basis, but it's baseball.
Yeah.
It's baseball.
One of your major loves.
It is.
Isn't that fun? You get to do something that you absolutely love.
Yeah, no, it's great. And it really dovetails into the Explore Washington State thing too. They're very complementary to each other. Yeah. So it's really good.
Excellent.
Scott, is there anything else, if somebody were to hire Jerry and me to coach them, is there anything that you would warn them about, or words of advice before you hire Jerry and Laura? You need to make sure that, or just do it. In your words, what would you say?
You're really going to
got a big smile on his face. Oh no!
You're really going to give me that much? Come on now.
No. Did I just open Pandora's box?
You might have, Laura. You might want to edit. You might want to get your editing button on here. Okay. No, in all seriousness, you are looking to grow your business, or if you're looking to stop working for somebody else and start your own business. Two different sets of skills here. Starting a business is different than running a business, but
true.
If you are looking to improve the business that you have and you want to work, I don't want to say you're going to work less, but if you want to work on the things that matter more and you want to work on the things that don't matter less, you really need to sit down and have a conversation with Jerry and Laura, because they will help you with that. You're not going to get to avoid all the unpleasant things. Trust me, I try. But you will learn to work on what's important and what moves the needle forward, both in the form of revenue, profit, and maybe most importantly, enjoyment for yourself. So that would be my sincere, genuine endorsement.
Thank you.
Don't let him threaten you with his shoe, because he will.
I thought you were going to tell people they have to wear a bulletproof vest on their bottom.
No. And don't underestimate Laura. She will put you in your place.
Only with love. Only with
love. Yeah, that's what
I want to see you succeed.
Is that what we call it now?
Okay. See you succeed. I want to see you succeed.
Yeah, the telling phrase is, Scott, I love you, right? And everybody on the call goes,
everyone puckers.
And
oh no.
The good news is those are recorded so that when you're in shell shock, you can go back and listen to them later and learn from the lesson. No, yeah. I can't thank you both enough for all that you've done for me.
We love working with you. Are just great. And I love you. I appreciate you. I respect you. We don't get to spend near enough time together anymore. I guess I'm going to have to, when the mountain doesn't go to Muhammad, Muhammad must go to the mountains.
From June through August, I'm here in Wenatchee with baseball. And
at 119 degrees. I love you, but not that much.
And the thing is,
we'll leave the heat of Texas to go to the heat of Wenatchee.
It's a dry heat here. But Jerry, you guys, you love wine. You can go to Walla and I will show you the shop in Walla where you can get the shirt that says Walla is for wine and Napa is for auto parts. And you can wear that to your
Oh, that's
friends and they
funny.
will love
That's
you.
funny.
I love that.
They will love you for that. You can pick one up, try some great Washington wines.
Yes, sir.
So,
Look forward to that. Yep.
okay.
Awesome. At the end of each episode, we ask our listeners to answer a question. And the question that I have for everyone today, and you can either put this wherever you hear it, there's probably going to be a comment section or a place below the blog or whatever it is. If you, let me just rephrase it. Are you having fun in your business? Are you having fun with what you're doing? That's the question I have for you. And if the answer is yes, then and you're earning money and you're profitable, then keep doing it. If the answer is no, then please reach out to us at bbmmusa.com. So once again, the question is, are you having fun? Are you loving what you're doing? And I think, Scott, you sound like you're loving what you're doing.
Absolutely.
And I know
Beautiful.
Jerry is.
I
We
love
had
every day.
we've had clients the last 2 weekends in a row actually stay with us at the ranch. Wow, talk about life-changing experiences, whole different trajectories for them. So that's something new that we're doing at the ranch as well. Absolutely loving it. Hint, hint, nudge, Scott. We'd love to have you out at the ranch
We
in
can make that
winter.
work.
You
We can make
you
that.
can
No,
escape the cold.
your winters are nowhere better than mine. We'll have to do fall or spring.
But you
Deal.
got
I'm
snow
in.
though.
Huh?
Don't you get snow?
Oh, we get lots of snow,
We don't.
which means I don't leave because I'm not going to.
Oh
I'm snowed in. I
no,
hibernate. It's beautiful.
it's like a big bear.
My dog loves the snow. So yeah.
Too
Oh,
funny.
beautiful.
Cool. Thank you for being with us. We look
Thank
forward
Yeah.
to chatting with you again and seeing you and giving you a big hug. Jerry, anything else you want to say or questions you want to ask?
Yeah, I'll update my microphone for you. It's okay. Just for you, sir.
Okay. Thank you both for having me on. I really enjoyed myself.
I'm glad. Good to
Awesome.
see you. Good to chat
Thanks.
with you. We'll see you again and stay safe, brother.
All right.